gentlemen, to ShockCast episode 199.9. So we decided before we do the big kind of 200th episode, we were going to do kind of what they do in sitcoms before like the series finale happens. They just like that really fun kind of clip show and like best of thing. So we decided to do that same thing for the ShockCast because we decided that ShockCast 200 will be the last ShockCast ever. And don't, you know, if you're a fan, weird, but don't be scared. The ShockCast will be back in some way, shape, or form. We just decided to, mix things up and do maybe a format change and kind of rebrand it. And, there are some ideas that we're kicking around that actually seem like they might be pretty fun. So keep an eye out for that. But what I wanted to do, especially with this fun little clip show, was I decided to ask the staff what their favorite moments were from the ShockCast, as soon as we started putting our really ridiculous faces on it. And I got some responses, and what you're going to look at now is, the staff picks of their favorite kind of ShockCast moments. And we're going to start with our very first live ShockCast when we were broadcasting live over the internet and like YouTube and stuff, and just showing you how far we've come, because that was a disaster. There was technical difficulties left and right, and Dave Rodriguez was the host at the time, was using his cell phone but didn't put his face on it, so we were speaking to the ceiling when he spoke, and that is some mighty fine hosting, Dave. We also have Tony Polanco doing his rounds, and then my illustrious takeover, and I would keep track of kind of the discussions going on here, because a lot of these were the E3 of last year, PAX of last year, and just seeing us getting really excited for like Infamous and Titanfall and a bunch of cool things on the PC, Xbox One, and PS4, and then just kind of seeing them in retrospective is kind of hilarious. And just a lot of funny random moments of the time I got sick at PAX and lost my voice, when we had the Halloween show, and Jill Shar from Tom's Guide was telling us that people put like poison in candies or something. That was really weird, and there's a bunch of that. So I wanted to just intro you and not just bombard you with clips out of context. What the hell's going on here? But yeah, this is the best of ShockCast right before episode 200, which really is going to be the 200 is going to be the last of the numbered ShockCast, but really the beginning of kind of like a brand new format and a new show that we, like I said, we there's a couple solid ideas, and we might want to try them all before we stick to something official, which seems like it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to showing you guys, and we can't wait to have this going for you. So yeah, next couple of weeks is going to be kind of crazy. Everyone in the staff has been super busy, and I'm moving to a new place, so this set might change. So this is the last time you'll see this chalkboard. So teardrop. I'm sorry. I will find something else to put behind me that is just as dumb. Don't you worry. But yeah, enjoy the best of live recorded people's faces dropping in and out, and if you're a fan of curse words and rants and me doing bad French accents, that's there. If you like Titanfall talk and E3 talk and indie games and probably me yelling at Ryan about Smash Brothers, or me and Tony going at it. I'm sure Al's in one of those talking about his Jordans. Joel's there dropping knowledge on everyone. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And we're going to put little in the post itself. If you're interested in any of seeing a clip you like and want to see and listen to that whole ShockCast, you can always find us on SoundCloud. If not, if you want to see the video of it, we'll put it on the link itself. And yeah, here you go. Enjoy it. I'm that person that I say goodbye like 2 or 3 times. But yeah, finally, goodbye. Next time I see you, we'll be doing something awesome. Don't you worry, and enjoy. And Ryan will put some cool intro music here for you. So, intro music. Go. 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 All right.
Listening, you're watching and listening.
Now,
what?
Now you start.
What?
Now you start. Start now. Start now.
Can I start now? Can I start now?
4.
Can I start now?
2, 1, go.
Do we start now? Do we start?
Yes.
Do we start already? No, okay. This is episode 162 of the DualShockers ShockCast, and this is our first live episode. And as you can see, we're off to a great start, just hitting the ground running.
Yep.
This evening, I am joined by Joel Tavares, one of our co-founders.
What's going on, everybody?
Tony Polanco.
What's going on, people?
Ryan Meitzler.
I'm watching you.
Hello.
And George's beard trimmer, really. Oh my god. And George Jimenez.
I'm watching you, watching me, watching you. Shit's gonna get weird.
Yes, we have a lot to talk about, and we're so good at this that we totally forgot who's doing the new releases. We totally forgot about that, guys.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even think about that.
Nose goes.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Who's handling this
nose
shit?
goes.
This is how organized we are.
Yeah, we're extremely organized. All right, I'll do the new releases
Yeah, you do that shit.
myself. Today is the 18th. All right, so for the week of February 16th to the 23rd, you've got Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare for the Xbox
You got some
360 and
sexy
Xbox
hands,
One.
Dave.
Oh, shit, you can see that. Good lord. Tomba 2, The Evil Swine Return, PS1 Classic for PlayStation 3 Network. Earth Defense Force 2025 for PS3, 360, and PSN. Strider for PS4, PS3, and Xbox One. Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry Standalone for PSN, PS4, PC. Banished for the PC. Forest Legends for the PlayStation Network. Mr. Driller for the PS1 Classic. Neo Contra, that's a PS2 Classic for PlayStation Network. Rayman Legends for the PS4, 99 Levels to Hell for Steam. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the Wii U. And Go Nippon, My First Trip to Japan on Steam for the PC.
I don't even know what that last title was about.
I was surprised. That's why I paused. I'm like, what am I reading right now?
I don't even know what to say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so what do you guys pick?
Go Nippon, man. That's the shit right there. I'm gonna go with Strider for obvious reasons.
Of course.
This Strider, dude, is fucking awesome. That's my pick.
I'm going to go with Titanfall Beta. Is that-
I suppose that's your prerogative, yes.
Right. Okay.
My prerogative.
George, you're going to say the same thing, I bet, right?
I'm gonna go with the Titanfall beta.
Of
But
course you
before,
are.
I played with Joel because Joel's really bad. So
I am.
I heard. You were shouldering the whole team.
No, wait. No. First of all, George is a murderer. And it's not that I'm bad, it's that he's a mass murderer.
It's just that I get all the kills. That there's just nothing for anyone else.
All your kills belong to George.
Oh my god. Ryan, what do you pick?
I'm going to pick an actual game, and I'll go with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Oh, shots fired.
I played the demo at the Nintendo World a couple weeks ago, and it was really fun, so I will go with that.
Very nice, very nice.
Suck it, Titanfall.
Yeah, Titanfall ain't shit. I didn't get a beta code. I don't care, you know. I'm gonna go with the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. I also played that personally, and that is also a game that's a lot of fun. All right, so we're gonna get right into it. First thing we're gonna talk about, since we kind of mentioned it already, George and Joel, you guys both had a chance to play the Titanfall beta. So why don't you give us your thoughts on that?
George, you want to open it up, or do you want me to get things going? It's up to you.
Joel, let's go with the weak link, Joel.
Oh, shit.
I'd like to hear Joel's perspective from someone who just didn't dominate. I want to know what it was like for him.
Well, no. Now here's the surprising thing about me not being able to dominate. The thing about Titanfall, the funny thing about Titanfall is that what Respawn has actually done is that they found a very hard. They accomplished something that's not very easy nowadays, and that's making the barrier of entry rather low, and creating something that I would say weekend warriors, people that don't have a lot of time to invest in those kinds of shooters, can actually just pick up and enjoy. So and this is coming from someone who's spent, I've put a lot of time into Battlefield on the PS4 and other shooters as well, and a lot of those games, it's like if you're not consistently playing them, you can't just pick it up again, because then you just get mowed down by the people that have been playing and have been practicing. So it's kind of hard when you have like a job and shit, right? To be able to jump back into games after spending X amount of time away from a certain title. So Titanfall definitely looks like one of those titles that will be easy to pick up and put down, and I think that's going to be a lot of the appeal behind it. That's what I got from the beta. In terms of system seller, I guess Well, let George talk about it because I just want to touch base on that. If this is gonna sell.
Okay.
You don't seem convinced, though, Joel.
Xboxes.
I think the opposite. I think that this is the. I think if you have an Xbox One, this was the game you were waiting for.
I don't know.
Yeah, see it.
Like I said, you weren't really that good at it, but from what I was playing,
I agree.
I will agree.
If you have an Xbox One, this is the game you're waiting for.
Yeah, this is the game for you. This is the kind of game you've been kind of waiting around for. But I will agree with Joel that the barrier for entry for this game is super low, and there's so many interesting new mechanics that you're just not familiar with. That's the whole idea. I fell in love with just the traversal element of the game, where I've gone matches without even jumping inside a fucking Titan, just because you're just kind of zipping around from rooftop to rooftop with your little jetpacks, and you're just always on top of someone, or catching someone from behind, or just jumping out of a window and then through a window, and then just downstairs, and then before you know it, you're on the third floor or something. It's pretty neat.
That's not really a good thing.
No.
It's not so reliant on the Titans. Yeah.
No, it's not. I was not expecting that. I was expecting, it's always just like, all right, I need to get this fucking Titan, and the Titan dominates. It's really dependent on, one single Titan can't just charge into an area because you get swarmed like rats coming all over you because you can rodeo.
It turns into Titan shower rape.
Yeah. It's right. So you'll notice that like a lot of times anyone in a Titan is always kind of keeping their distance and just doing just kind of long range artillery. And if you get a Titan out in the open field and you're on foot, you do not stand a chance. But as soon as you lure a Titan in between buildings where you're just kind of hop over them, they're just done. And yeah, and you get there's a good Call of Duty vibe to it. Like when you're playing it, you do get that sense of like, oh yeah, guys who made Modern Warfare made this game. And you get that almost immediately as soon as you start picking your loadout and your classes and then going into perks, they manage to really hit that kind of carrot on the stick gameplay where it's like, hey, you like using that gun? If you get 20 more kills, you get to unlock some sort of scope or something. I'm like, all right. I guess I'll get 20 more kills. But yeah, like I said, it's super early in the beta. It could still easily be like a Battlefield where if you're not playing for 2 weeks, you're so far behind that everyone's ranked up by you. But it seems with what they call the burn cards, which is these like one-time use things. So if you're just doing really bad, you use a burn card, and all of a sudden here's a super rifle that should last you a life. So if you're really falling behind, you just use some of your burn cards. It's like, oh, do you need extra health? There's a burn card for that. You want to Titan in 1 minute? Here you go. There's a burn card for that. So yeah, the beta when I had it was super fun, but like I said, it's too early to tell just because everyone's so like, ooh, shiny robots and shit blowing up.
They're just sapping to it, yeah.
Yeah, you're just having a lot of fun to it. But if you just want to I'm kind of curious to see what it's going to be like to sit back for a full week with it, or just give me 2 weeks with Titanfall, and then yeah, I can tell you whether it's gonna have any staying power at all. Because yeah, it's going to be insane for the first 2 weeks, maybe in the first month of a million people on it. But you got to see where that kind of drop-off point where it is, because you want to get a game like, you want a Halo or a Gears where, yeah, people are always going to be playing it. There's something that kind of always pulls you back, and that's more of like a balance, good map selection. So yeah, but so far I'm digging Titanfall. I think the beta was good for 2 reasons. One was it's a beta, so whatever. But
did you feel like you were playing a beta? Like both of you?
It seemed pretty polished.
Yeah, it felt pretty polished. I think this is more just testing out server architecture and just like, let's try to get as many people on this at once. But I also think it's just to alleviate some doubt as far as people who are just kind of iffy about Titanfall. So I don't think they would have released that beta if they weren't like 100%, if it wasn't 100% playable. Like it seems like all the kinks are already worked out, and this was just like, to me, this was not a beta. This was just a fancy demo of the game. Just to get people up and talking, because yeah, everyone's talking. Everyone I've spoken to who's played the beta is kind of like, yeah, I was surprised. I'm digging it. So, good job, Respawn.
But one of the things that I liked also about the way the gameplay plays out. Well, first of all, really quick, if anyone now I figured it out. So when I first played a couple matches, I was like, okay, I think I just had a seizure for 10 minutes. But
that is true. Yeah, you're very
blink. You're like, it's very frantic. You're like, what the hell's going on?
There's missiles and robots, and then that guy's on a roof, and oh shit, he's not on a roof. And people can turn invisible. One of your first moves. Your first special move is cloak.
It's cloak.
Yeah, you just go right invisible. And I'm like, this is fucking insane. And what kept freaking me out is everyone kept using that, because all the pilot classes, meaning the little soldier guys, you get your own abilities and your own perks. The Titans also have your own abilities and your own perks. So you can pick a Titan loadout and then think Call of Duty. So one of the perks is the nuclear ejection, which I completely fell in love, where if your Titan's down, you can eject, and then you detonate your nuclear reactor. So you just kind of see these little white lights that come out of nowhere, and then literally just nuclear mushroom cloud. So if you get a bunch of people doing that at once, it's literally just, you're going to go blind at some point.
Jesus.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the best way to describe any match, pretty much, is think of the last 15 minutes of any Transformers movie. That's Titanfall.
Oh, no, stop. I'm getting a headache just thinking about it.
It's exhausting. Titanfall is exhausting. Like, it's so exhausting that they give you like almost 2 minutes of just rest time in between matches.
Yeah. It's like it's pretty crazy because like when things get like really frantic, if you're still on foot or whatever, if you're waiting for your maybe your first Titan got blown up and it's like deep into a match and there's a bunch of Titans on the map, like you'll be indoors, you're trying to leave and go out into the street. And that I forgot the name of that one map where it's like it's like a city area.
Angel City, probably.
Angel City, yeah. So you're in Angel City and you're like in the building and you're trying to leave. You walk out the front door and there's like 4 Titans going at it in the middle of the street. You're like, oh no, fuck this. I'm not going out that way. So it's pretty intense. Is it going to be that system seller? I don't know.
I think so. I mean, I'm just going to be curious, considering that the game's going to have no single player. This is going to be a pure multiplayer game. So
$60 for multiplayer, though. That's the price. That's the thing that I'm finding. Like that's like a hard pill to swallow.
Did you guys hear there's actually going to be a campaign though of sorts within the multiplayer?
It's like a shared campaign thing, right?
Something like that.
The story's going to be told in like snippets pre and post match. So I think every map is going to have its own kind of like self-contained story. Because the game also has NPC units, so as you're playing, you feel like you're part of a larger battle that's going on. Particularly if you play the one match, was it Fracture, the one with all the oil things? You'll see a bunch of spaceships overhead, and like Titanfall's a really pretty game when you're not just like running around and just like having a seizure. If you like take a moment and like look up at the sky, it's a very busy skybox, and just stuff going on in the background is just like, oh, that's neat. And I like the additions of like the NPC, just kind of throwaway soldiers that you can kill for points and farm. Like, I did a match where one person said, like, listen, I suck, what should I do? And one person said, just kill the fucking grunts and get out of the way. And I'm like, oh, okay.
There's always that guy. There's always that one guy.
Yeah, that was me, actually, yelling at the guy. I haven't used my headset in my Xbox One for so long that I was just like, oh, right, I have a headset for this stupid thing. And I'm there, I'm just like, trying to have conversations with people, and you just start getting into it.
You're barking orders at people.
Well, you always get that one guy who's just kind of like, it's my first time playing, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker.
Like, you were that guy once, George.
No, but
never.
Like, you have a gun in your hand. You have to draw a map for them. I mean, come on.
Yeah, right. Shoot the red guys or the blue guys. That's it. Like, fuck.
Actually, I have a question. Do you notice you're playing within, like, when you're in the heat of a battle and you're running across rooftops and jumping off walls and then you're getting in Titans, are the NPCs like noticeable, or does it all kind of blend together in the heat of battle?
I think on the mini map you could tell what's an NPC,
yeah, on the
what's
minimap
a person.
Yeah, the mini map, the NPCs are small little dots. Player units are big red circles.
Okay.
In the field of battle, say like outside looking in, it looks like a really nice battlefield. But when you're actually fighting, you can tell who's an NPC and who's a pilot, just because the NPCs look different, and they also just kind of stand there and wait to be shot. So they are.
There's those NPCs.
Yeah, so they do. I noticed
The power of the cloud, guys.
Yeah, the power of the cloud. But I do notice that halfway through the match, the NPCs sort of upgrade to like robots with rocket launchers. So if you're in a Titan, every once in a while you start getting hit by someone. You're like, who the fuck is shooting? It's like, oh, is that little tiny asshole? And you just kind of step on them like.
Yeah, I heard about that. Like somebody jumped at a Titan, like a human jumped at a Titan, and the Titan just fucking punched them into like a tail of gore. That's hilarious.
You can rip pilots out of the Titans right before they blow up, because the Titans have a doomsday, almost like in Gears of War, like when you're down but not out.
Yeah.
So in this one you have a doom state. So when your shields are gone and your health is gone, you kind of have an extra 5 to 10 seconds of life where you can decide, say, fuck it, I'm just going to eject, or you can just sort of keep fighting. So what some people do, if you have that like nuclear reactor bomb thing, you just kind of get as close to other Titans as possible, then eject. But if a guy's smart enough and melees you right when you're ejecting, you literally grab the guy from thin air, you look at him, and you fucking chuck him across the map.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, or the best is if you see people jumping around, you can literally just throw a punch, and you'll connect, and they'll just pop, and just little explosion of blood and guts, and you just sit there like.
It's a rain of gore.
It is a rain of gore. Like I've been accidentally stepped on all the times. Well, not accidentally, but because they were bad guys. But you try to get like a good spot on, then he's not there, and then he can boost, and like Titans can boost, and it's like, why are they moving so goddamn fast? They're robots, and it's good though, but it's hectic and it's exhausting. Like me and Joel were sitting, we're just like, man, we must be old. That must be the issue.
It's great. No, it's crazy.
Can't hang with them kids, man.
It's a frantic experience, and I mean, I think the people that are gonna, I think you're gonna have two very distinct camps. You're gonna love Titanfall, or you're just gonna buy Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It's just shit. You're just gonna buy like those military shooters, but Titanfall.
Hold on, is it different enough from Call of Duty that Call of Duty fans won't actually like to play this game? Is it that much of a divide?
That's my concern. I'm wondering if those fans, like, I think a lot of those military shooter fans get thrown off by like futuristic stuff, and like, and that's why I'm saying I don't know if it's gonna grab that audience, but. Again, Respawn's not stupid. The PR behind it, EA is not stupid, and they're definitely not. They're embracing the idea that these guys came from, Infinity Ward, that came from Activision. You never tell them, you never hear them say like, "Oh, don't mention that." Don't mention Call of Duty. Don't mention their previous work. They want people to know that. They want people to know who Respawn is and the fabric that this game is made with.
Yeah, and I think people will be into, like, I think if you're a hardcore Call of Duty fan, you kind of want to see where, there's a Call of Duty pedigree here. So it's like, hey, Modern Warfare 2 was my favorite Call of Duty. I'm curious to see what the two guys who thought about that, what they're working on right now. Like, I think hardcore Call of Duty fans would give it a chance.
Right, and I think that's the most important thing. People that give it a chance are going to like it.
All right.
Yeah. I'm ready. What's next?
You guys have any holy shit moments during Titanfall, like when you're playing? Aside from people getting punched in the face and blown up?
Holy shit, thank God it's over.
There is my favorite part is actually the end of the match, because the end of every Titanfall match is something called an epilogue. So what would happen is, say I'm in one team and Joel's on another team. My team wins. There's still a chance for Joel's team, even if they were like utterly defeated, to net some extra EXP just to not feel like complete losers. And what will happen is be like, hey, surviving pilots, we're going to send an evac ship to this point in 30 seconds. So from there, it becomes one life for everyone. So people are trying to escape. The winning team is trying to blow up the escape shuttle or kill all the pilots in there. So it becomes this really cool kind of like cat and mouse game. And
it's
then,
like Black Hawk Down right there. Jesus.
Yeah, it's
pretty much.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, because once you actually make it inside the hangar, you could still inside the ship, you can still be shot at, and your ship could still be blown up. So you're just in there shooting out your ship.
Hoping that they won't blow that shit up.
Yeah, and I've seen some really cool strategies where people are like, fuck it, I'm going to put my Titan follow mode, I'm going to get in this shuttle, and hopefully people don't kill me.
I have a question, because I obviously haven't played this game. Who are you fighting against? Are you fighting against aliens or other humans?
Humans. I think you're like, it's an army versus rebel army.
Yeah.
It's typical sci-fi bullshit.
It's like a galactic empire versus rebels.
I don't know. I had no sense of what the story is like. Oh, you're the liberation army of the blah blah blah. I'm like,
Time out. D-Rod, you talking shit about Star Wars right now, D-Rod?
I definitely made a Star Wars reference.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I just went right through it. Like, no, I don't give them the satisfaction. These fucking Trekkies.
Jesus Christ.
Hold on, you were talking about Star Wars and then you said Trekkies do two different things.
And it's like, you can't even comment on that. It's just let them.
I was commenting on that Dave has this Star Trek buy-in, so everything he says about Star Wars is set with like a little bit of venom behind it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like, oh,
keep eating your Dominoes, David.
Yeah.
I ate the Dominoes already.
Yeah.
I like that. But yeah, I really kind of wanted to check out the indie side. The indie side was definitely more popping than the, AAA stuff. But I had to.
That's why because usually those indie games at like a Comic-Con or like an E3, those get drowned out.
Yeah.
By the bigger, literally by the bigger booths, by the dubstep coming out of the Ubisoft booth. You can't get to the indie stuff just because you're so distracted by the lights.
Yeah, exactly. Like not every booth had a fucking giant monster light like they did for for
or the trials. Yeah. The trials bike cage, pretty much. But
it was fun, man. I liked it a lot. Some other things I want to say just about the PAX experience. This should be up eventually. We just got to get the video. I did my first panel ever. It was called Fragging Gamer Stereotypes. We just basically debunked a bunch of gaming, stereotypes like we're antisocial, we don't have sex, all this bullshit. We kind of went off a little bit off the rails when we started talking about Mass Effect 3 too much. Just admittedly, we just kind of went off.
I feel like every conversation with Tony, it just kind of goes off the rail with Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, it wasn't even my fault, but they started it. So that was a lot of fun. I went to go see Diana's panel, which was a lot of fun too. We actually have that up on the site right now. I fell in love with Susan Arendt. I think that's how you say it.
From Joystick.
Yeah.
She is fucking awesome, dude. Like the stuff she was saying is like, yeah, I love this woman. She's great. She's saying some real stuff. Talking about how, like, for example, it's like, it's like if you're in this business and you're not on Twitter, you're doing something wrong, because that's the best way to hire people and all this other stuff. And it was great. It was just amazing. And then, like I said before, I really liked the whole Boston thing. Going to those parties was a lot of fun. And I'll save this for the show. I got to give a bunch of shout outs to people, because that was the one thing I liked about PAX. And I specifically went there for this. I have so many friends, like, from this industry that I never get to actually, see with my own eyes and touch and stuff. So, like, the little pixels, the people that live on my phone, they're real. So it was great to see them.
I prefer them being not real.
So that was fun. I met a lot of dudes, man. Like, oh, Tony. And it's funny because most of them I met while I was just waiting online. I met a bunch of them just waiting for Evolve. Like, hey, Tony, what's up, man? So that was a lot of fun. Oh yeah, and then we just got to say this. This was one of my highlights, because at one point George lost his voice. We don't know how it happened. Like, was it Evolve? You went to play Evolve with your voice?
I went to play Wolfenstein. Like, I did an interview. I did an interview with one of the developers from Dungeons Defenders 2, and it went fine, and that was okay. Like, an hour later, I'm playing Wolfenstein the demo, and I have like a coughing fit. I'm like, blah blah blah, and then whatever. I finished my demo. My demo crashed. So as soon as the game got good, it crashed. So I leave, and the PR person was like, oh, everything okay? What happened? I'm like,
oh, God.
And nothing came out. And I was like, that's weird. So I'm going back to the press room. I'm like, I think I lost my voice. You're like, what? How'd that happen? I don't know. It's like, you heard me this morning speak. And yeah, so I was communicating in whispers, getting like really close to people, like, hey, I lost my voice. It's
yeah, and it was funny because your whisper kind of became contagious. Like, this is what I mean. Like, we'd start talking to George, and then we'd all start, like, we'd all start just whispering for no reason. But my favorite part is we went to this fucking Aces party. So George is there arguing with our boy Hip Hop Gamer.
I always argue with Hip Hop Gamer. Whenever me and Hip Hop Gamer run into each other, we always argue for a good 45 minutes. That's why I love the guy.
He's like right next to Hip Hop, like at this fucking party with the music just blasting.
Because I wanted to make my point, and I wasn't going to be drowned out. But yeah, always happens with me and Hip Hop. We always just go at it about just like the most random of bullshit.
It's great, and you and I agree with this. Like, okay, I don't agree with anything Hip Hop Gamer says, but I love this guy.
Yeah, he's great. He's got a good enthusiasm, and he's always just happy to be there, and he's always more than willing to engage in conversation, which I appreciate. But but it was fun though.
Yeah, that was a fun party. We met a lot of cool people. Yeah, it was just great. Like instantly, like I go to fucking PAX. I have 450 followers. I come back, it's like 476. Like, everybody's like just jumping in and stuff. It's really fun. Like, my whole Facebook page looks totally different now. I made all these new friends. So that's to me, that's what it's all about. Like, yeah, we're here to play games, we're here to report, but I like the human aspect of it. Meeting all these like-minded people. Like, you meet these people, there's no breaking the ice. You just talk about games. It's fantastic. I love that. What about you guys? Any going to share about Boston PAX and stuff?
No, I mean, just overall, I enjoy it. I mean, this is my 5th time going back to PAX East, and I always
You're
just
a veteran.
I enjoy it more and more each year, just because like it's just grown so much. Like, even since the first year when it was like overcrowded and like in the Heinz Convention Center, and it was like the first year, and but I just enjoy it every year, and especially like since this was my first, because I've been there 4 times before, but as an attendee. And now I got to see it a little bit differently as as my first year going as press. So just getting to like be in the press room and all of a sudden sitting next to all these people that like I've seen their work for years, and like now I'm like sitting next to them like tired and hungry and just wanting to like
they were just all complaining about the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was funny like looking up to these people as like role models, and like all of a sudden I'm sitting next to them and they're like, oh, I'm so fucking tired. Like, it was a really good experience, and obviously going with you guys was great as well, doing that.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, we were all like in the same like room and stuff, but it worked. We there weren't any like conflicts or anything. Everything worked out pretty well.
We're all free. We're all friends. It will add to the stereotype of the gaming Illuminati, but yeah, it was just a meeting of the gaming Illuminati again. Of like, oh look, it's my buddies from Kotaku and Polygon and Joystick. Let's go say hi, and let's all conceive to just give Japanese games bad reviews. Yeah, totally. Like, which is not the case. We don't do that. All right.
No, we don't do that.
We're too busy bloodletting and
Yeah, like even though
Satan.
yeah, even though I was like dead tired by the end because there was a lot of moving around. I'm like, I'm kind of sad to leave. It was totally like different from my LA experience. When I went to E3 last year, I was like, get me the fuck out of this city right now. I don't want to be here a second longer. Please get me out. Boston's like, I could stay here. This is nice. This is cool.
Well, yeah, it's close to everything, and just Boston's just a really cool city, and like it's just not as jam packed as New York. But maybe being in New York, I like that stuff closes at 4 a.m. because I like to party. But
Yeah,
2 a.m.
exactly.
West Coast,
it's a little. I was gonna say it's a little bit of a shell shock, I think, to New York people, where things are like, oh, it's like 1 a.m. Oh, it's really late,
Yeah, I'm like, really?
Listen, what are you talking about? It's just started, man.
Get out of here. That was the consensus with a lot of like my New York friends that were up there. Were just kind of like, oh.
Yeah, they're like,
night's over. I'm like, yeah.
It's closing at 1 a.m. What?
But at the same time, it let us sleep.
Yeah, that's probably was not a bad idea either, because I'm pretty sure I was sick to begin with, and then I was like, I'll just go to PAX anyway. And so yes, I'm pretty sure I've gotten other people sick on there. I know Dee got the PAX pox, so
yeah, she got
I'm
PAX
pretty sure I was
pox.
patient 0. So.
Yeah, I always avoid those. I don't know how. I have a pretty good immune system. I've never gotten a PAX pox or anything like that.
I only get sick at conventions. Like as soon as I leave my little bubble here,
yeah,
my immunity to all germs just goes away. It's like, oh fuck, like.
Yeah, no, I never had that happen.
Change of weather and change of scenery, I just immediately get sick.
Yeah, even the last day, fucking Boston raining on us, that wasn't fun. It's like, come on, Boston, you were being nice up to this point. What the fuck?
I stopped buying new Dreamcast games.
I think we're all guilty of that. Nobody can be like, oh no, I bought every single game.
Yeah, I'm
not gonna just be one of those people like, no, you guys killed the Dream. Like, no, I think I helped it as much as
I killed the Dreamcast. It was me.
Also. I murdered the Dreamcast. I didn't even buy one until after it already died.
I never got a Dreamcast.
Oh, JJ, we got to kick you off this podcast.
Actually, no, I take that back. Because recently, a couple months ago, I bought a Dreamcast and then I got rid of it because I didn't use it.
Oh, I love the Dreamcast.
No Shenmue for you.
I was a Genesis kid. I was a Genesis kid because I always grew up as a Sega fan because of Genesis, but I just never got into their later stuff. It just didn't happen.
Yeah.
I became a Genesis kid, then I became an N64 kid.
Oh yeah, to end my little story, then they released a dual cartridge that had both the 4 megabyte thing and the import thing, so it was great. I'm like, I don't have to do the trick anymore. This is awesome. Oh man. So anyway, about the Drakengard thing, this leads into the main topic. Basically, there's a lot of things that people on the other side of the fence don't really understand about the realities of what it is to be a video game writer. I know I had a lot of preconceived misconceptions that were kind of shattered when I got to this side of it. If I was one of those guys, I wouldn't have been as vocal about it, but I would have been like, yo, dude, you got to play all the games, man. Like, or at least play some of them to have, done this. But now I'm like, there's a deadline. Somebody needs to review this shit. It needs to be done. That's one of them. But, I'll get back to myself in a bit. Let's start with JJ. What are some preconceived, misconceptions that you had before you were a video game writer and then after you became one?
Well, before I became, a video game writer, where I started covering games and actually immersing myself in the industry outside of just playing the games, I obviously, like you and everybody else, I thought that obviously people that wrote about games, they were almost godlike at playing games, because they were exposed to it so much. Like that, obviously you have to, kind of pick up some sort of skills in a lot of the different genres. Like they were multifaceted. And I also kind of had an idea that because they had exposure to all different aspects of the game and shit and whatnot, that pretty much they were kind of like a jack of all trades, and not a lot of people had a lot of specific taste and preferences that kind of geared towards one thing or the other. As afterwards, when I started writing more and started covering things more, that kind of shattered. And I also kind of started looking at places like bigger websites, like IGNs and game trailers and stuff. I started looking at them in a different light because I saw now, as opposed to being one wrong answer, one right answer to a specific question or an obstacle or whatnot, there was multiple for me. There was multiple answers to the same question that weren't necessarily right or wrong. They were just a matter of perspective. Because one person doesn't like a particular game or doesn't like a certain genre or whatnot, doesn't necessarily mean that they damn it like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how it was with me because I used to think that was the thing I was going to bring up. Basically, I thought every game reviewer was essentially more or less a gaming god. They could play every game. They were masters of every game and stuff. And then I got to the other side. I'm like, okay, that doesn't seem to be a case. I won't name names, but a lot of these guys kind of suck. Let's just be honest. And then with myself, I have my kind of biases, and then other people have their biases too. Even guys that are on bigger sites, we're not as subjective as I believe. That everybody is still an individual. That's one thing. It's it demystified everything for me. It's they're not gods. They're just people. A review is not and
they're not always right.
Yeah,
And
they're
that's
not
always
always.
right.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so that was like the main thing for me. That was definitely Shatter. It's like everybody is a human being. They're not gods. They're not, there is no real gaming god unless you're like a Korean or something. It just doesn't. Oh, Yami, what about you? What stuff got shattered for you when you started doing this?
No, yeah, I totally agree. It was the same case for me where I was growing up and I took these opinions as all powerful and all that, and then I realized I'm like, these people don't fucking have a clue. Like, they have about as much of a clue as I do. Not that I cared to begin with about reviews. Like, I read a review and I'm like, oh, I see it's your opinion, and I've always felt that way. You know, I've always known it's an opinion, but now I could see that it's an opinion from a gamer. And the only difference between a gamer that reviews a game and a gamer that just plays it is that the gamer that reviews the game is getting paid for it. And in many cases, they're not getting paid.
Yeah, in our case, actually no, we get paid, right? Right, George, you got paid off for Titanfall, right?
Oh yeah, there was a
congrats.
van full of suitcases of money.
Oh,
Yes.
congrats! Microsoft paid you guys off too. Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah, we had Sony for Infamous.
I had to give them blood though. It was weird. It was a weird.
They paid him with the Titan. A Titan came, dropped
the
down.
Titan on him.
and-
Oh my god.
Get his own personal mech, people. It's go time.
George, no, you weren't supposed to give your own blood. You just give goat blood. Oh my god, no. Mistake.
Oh, George, they got you, man. You know, now they're gonna.
They pranked you so good. They pranked you.
Now you must behave.
I'm good.
Ryan, what about you? What stuff got shattered when you got to this side of the wall?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's because it's been pretty recent. I only really started writing about games like a year or two ago, about a year or two ago. So I'm still pretty new to actually being on this
He's a
side of the
baby
fence.
gaming
I've
journalist.
always been on the other side because for pretty much at least 10 or 15 years, I followed like various gaming sites from like IGN and GameSpot and Game Informer and EGM, and my favorite was OneUp. They were the site that really kind of got me into the whole thing. Unfortunately, they're no more, but alas.
Rest in peace.
I think that the biggest thing is that the biggest misconception I think is that when you're writing about games, you have plenty of time to play games, but that is not the case at all. Because you spend way too much time writing about the games, and I think it's hard to actually get in time to play the games, like whether it's stuff you're reviewing or playing as a preview or anything like that. Much less like any stuff that I want to play on my own and have fun with. So I think that's the big thing. But
Yeah, and that's something the fans kind of don't get a lot of times. Like, yeah, that happened to me. I was like, okay, I'm writing for video games, about video games every day, and I can't get to play them anymore. You're right about that. It's very
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played a video game in like 3 years.
You haven't played video games for 3 years.
yeah, no, but I mean, like, between writing for the site and then also working full time, like it's tough to get it in, because at most per night I'll only have like maybe 1 or 2, at most 2 hours, like to play games, and then most of it I have to do on the weekends when I have actual free time. So.
Yeah, it's not as fun, and that's something that a lot of gamers don't realize, that we're actually analyzing the game while we're playing it, so it's not particularly just we're playing it for leisure or whatever.
Right, yeah, I think
There's games like, say, like a Mass Effect, where like I'm a big fan of the series, but I had to review Mass Effect 3. I had to play that a bit differently than I would play that
Yeah.
normally, where it's like I would stretch that out for weeks, do as much as I can, but it's like, hey, look, you got the game early, your deadline's in like a week, you have to cram as much Mass Effect as possible to have an opinion that you can articulate fairly well
Right.
by this day.
Yeah. That could be the challenge, I think, is like when you're faced with a deadline and you have to play through the entire game and formulate an opinion on it in a very short amount of time, most of the time, where at the earliest you'll get a game like a week or maybe 2 weeks before it's out, and you have to get the review out. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. That happened with me too. It's like with Infamous, a perfect example. Normal, because I played the 2 previous games. What I would do is I would take my time with everything. It's like, let me clear out the districts, then I'll do a story mission. This time it was like story missions. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you have time for. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know about you guys. Do you find it hard to break out of that mentality? Because I was playing Child of Light. I'm not reviewing it. The review was already done by the time I got the game, and I'm still analyzing things. Like I have to review, but I'm like, no, you're not. Just sit back and relax. You guys find it hard to get out of that mindset sometimes when you're just playing a normal game?
Definitely. I freaking played Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I made a video about it. Like, I can't just play a freaking game and not do something about it anymore. It's ruined my life.
Yeah. Yeah, because I finished Far Cry 3 the other week, and I'm gonna probably do my next editorial about that. Even though it's a 2-year-old game, and but basically, it's as I was playing it the whole time, I was in that mindset of like, okay, even though we reviewed it 2 years ago, like I'm still in that mindset.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to break out of. Even I'm playing Transistor now. Ryan, I know you're reviewing it, but in my mind, I'm still thinking that I'm going to review it.
Yeah.
I think once you start to notice things, it's like you never stop noticing them. Like when you know what to look for, you're always going to subconsciously look for them because you have to do it so fast because of meeting deadlines and stuff and other things you got to do. So it's always going to come like this.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like my big thing is like, especially when I do my certain criticism, I tend to focus on different things that other critics won't look at. Like I'm really into, if a game is supposed to be story or narrative driven, I really look into this narrative and be like, hey, there's some serious, we can get on like the Heavy Rain discussion. It was a good game, but I'm like, man, this story is insanely dumb, and to me that ruins my experience more than just how well the game played. And it was like, I can't play this really fun game when there's plot holes the size of just boats coming through here. And it's like nothing. This doesn't make a lick of sense to me. And yeah, it's like, fuck Heavy Rain. I'm sorry. Any chance I can give, just say fuck Heavy Rain. I just bring it up.
No, but dude, yeah, no, but you're right about that. That was one of my problems with Drakengard. I'm like, I have absolutely no idea what's going on here. And it's like, I know it's like the third game, but it's the prequel. Shouldn't it kind of lead me into it? So you're right about this. Like plot holes and things like that, it affects the game. Even if the game could be a masterpiece.
But you know what? It's a good ability. It's a good skill to have, even if you're not reviewing a game, is to see why you enjoyed it. Because to me,
exactly.
I think what makes a game reviewer different than, and let's talk to the point where it's like, being really good at a video game doesn't mean you're qualified to have an opinion. It doesn't mean that your opinion is golden about the game. Just because I'm really good at Call of Duty doesn't mean that my opinion on Call of Duty is completely golden. It's just,
I agree.
Making a good at game does not make you a good game critic. It just makes you really good at the game. What makes a game critic good is the ability to play something and articulate an opinion. I think a lot of gamers have opinions and they have feelings about games, but they can't articulate it well.
I agree. Wholeheartedly, I agree.
And that's what makes a game reviewer, and that's why some of us have favorite game reviewers, because like I like the way this guy thinks and I like the way he explains things. So even if we're disagreeing on a game, like Tony really loved Infamous, I played through it. I know exactly why Tony loved that game, and I know why I hated this game. But Tony made his point so clear, where it's like I can see where we have the difference of opinion here, which is totally valid, and that's totally why his experience was more positive than mine, because he was like, hey, I love doing all this extra stuff in Infamous. It was great. I got my powers. And to me, I was like, oh, this extra stuff is driving me nuts, because I personally hate doing extra stuff in open-world games that are overly repetitive.
Hello! And welcome to ShockCast 186. Some things have changed. Coming back after a long hiatus. And Ryan, things aren't going well in the world.
They aren't.
No. Russia wants to nuke the Ukraine. There's Ebola outbreaks. The celebrities' phones are being hacked. The internet just lost its goddamn mind. And I figured it out, Ryan. You know what it is?
Why is that? Is it because Destiny's out next week?
That, but it's the universe. It's the internet as a collective clamoring for the return of the ShockCast. I thought you knew that. I woke up and I was like, we need to ShockCast. We will fix this world. We will fix every problem by bringing the ShockCast back. So
is that why Joan Rivers died today too? Was as a result of that as well?
And you know what? We planned on doing this yesterday. We didn't, and now she's dead, and that's on me, and I have to live with that. All right. So when I got up this morning, I drew the happy faces with the video game stuff, and I was like, Ryan, we are fucking ShockCasting today. So hi guys, this is ShockCast 186 with your new host, George Jimenez, staff writer at DualShockers, and I'm by my ever-loyal sidekick, Ryan Meitzler, also staff writer, video guide. Oh, I'm a cool person.
But I don't want to be the sidekick.
You may notice we are lacking... You're fine, don't worry about it. You will notice that we are lacking a Tony. Just, not the award, I meant the physical person, Tony. Big head, usually wears a hat. Really loud. No longer with us. He's over at Coalition doing his thing.
Always looks angry all the time.
Always looks angry all the time. Tony decided to do a full heel turn and become a villain and head over to the Coalition, which just sounds like a wrestling organization anyway. So, bad on you, Tony. You are a villain. I will meet you in a steel cage and we will fight it out for the podcast host title belt. But yeah. Tony's gone. We're taking over. I'm the de facto host. It is a regime change. The chalkboard is ready. I'm ready. We're going to talk about video games. We're going to fix everything that is wrong in the world, Ryan. You and me. you're on a delay. It's totally cool. I don't mind. It's like we're talking via satellite. I figured the great return of the ShockCast wouldn't be a great return without really massive technical difficulties. But we're gonna truck on through. On through, Ryan.
We'll push through it. It's okay. So.
So how you been, Ryan? What you been doing for 3 or 4 weeks?
Good. Catching up on life. Playing video games. Playing more video games. It's been about it, I guess. It's been good. But
my PlayStation TV is available now in North America, ladies and gentlemen.
And George still doesn't know what it actually does.
Is it a Vita? Is that what it is? You're telling me it's a Vita?
It's a Vita, I guess.
Okay,
yeah.
It's a Vita sometimes.
I don't.
PS4 extender other times.
I don't want.
I think that's the best way to put it. Is a PS4 extender, pretty much. It's like.
And the funny thing is, I wrote this fucking article, and I'm like, I laughed. I'm like, I think I just have a dull spot for a PlayStation TV for whatever reason.
So one of the things that everyone's failing to mention too on this PlayStation TV thing, so I'm just keeping quiet like I'm watching on the sideline. So the way remote play works is that it lowers the fidelity of the game. That way you can stream it to your Vita. So, right? So like the Vita's 960 by 540. So a PlayStation downscales the game so it could transmit to your Vita. So on this thing, your game gets downscaled to the Vita resolution and then upscaled back up to 720. In other words, your PS4 games look like shit, but no one's mentioning that. But it's cool. We're just going to let that rock. I'm just going to continue sipping my tea here.
I had a conversation with some of the numerous Comic-Con after parties of some person really like, no, I love my Vita. I can fucking play. I was playing Destiny in the bathroom, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, you can't put that. Like, how long are your dumps where it's just like, oh man, I can't not stop.
I just rated right now.
Yeah, I just rated, son. And I'm like, it is unhealthy for you to be on the toilet for that long. That is how you actually develop.
Your ass will come through.
I mean, you could, in that time, you could either finish a raid in Destiny or you could finish Killzone Shadowfall. You could do either one. So it's like.
Ryan just digging that Killzone Shadowfall. Right? Go get him. Yeah, I still don't know what it is. I guess we talked about the. So Ubisoft released a statement. Well, no, they did not. There's another one big rumor thing. Apparently, during the Giant Bombcast by the fine people over at Giant Bomb, they got a letter from a guy claiming to be a Ubisoft employee, let's say, who addressed the PSN parody hashtag, and oh my god. Okay, so he claimed that the reason why both games are running at 900p and 60 frames or 30 frames a second, basically, reason why both games are not going to look as good as they are on the PC is they're saying that trying to make the game 1080p on the PS4 and running at a decent frame rate was a nightmare. Not saying they couldn't do it. They were just saying they rather would just put it down to a place where the game ran smoothly, fine, where everyone was happy. Microsoft's the guys paying for the TV spots are happy.
Not the dev studio.
Make
sure that everybody outside of Ubisoft was happy.
Yeah. So and to me, it's too early to tell, and you can't really know because all this is rumor and speculation. We don't know if this is backpedaling or if it's true. I mean, if it's true, it does make sense. Where it's like, hey, you know what? We can make it look this game, but the game might run like crap.
And there is a lot of shit going on screen from what we've seen of Unity. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of NPCs. There's a lot of NPCs. It's kind of like you're getting the Assassin's Creed that you were shown in a trailer 10 years ago, and you're finally getting it.
Exactly. Yeah. And if I'm getting that Assassin's Creed, fine. You know what? Run it at fucking 900p. As long as you give me that game you promised me 10 years ago, I'm okay with that.
Right.
But they're saying there was no shady backroom dealing, even though I guess it's just more fun to think about the sleazy Microsoft guy, just a briefcase of $10 million, just talking to some French guy at Ubisoft, like, hey, Jacques, I'm just gonna leave this briefcase that may be full of money here, and I'm gonna leave the room
with a piece of paper of resolution in there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna leave just a note with a number on it. I'm not gonna tell you what the number's for. Interpret it any way you will. And he leaves the room. The Jacques is like, fuck, man, that shit was crazy. Opens up the suitcase. 10 million.
Sacre bleu.
10 million French rubles, or I don't know what's the currency, the euro. Opens it up, and there is a folded note with just a thing that says Jacques. He unfolds it, and it says 900p. He puts it down.
It's like I know what to do. I know what needs to be done.
He goes, I know what to do. And there you go. I've unveiled. That's the scandal. That's what happened. Internet, you were right. Dude, wow. Well done, Internet. I applaud you. Okay, yeah, I'm done.
I like part 2. There was a part 2 where they did it like in a cemetery, and they burned the bodies that were infected, and the ash went up to the air and turned the whole city into zombies. That's a really dumb movie, which I love also. But I'm also a sucker for like slasher flicks, so like Nightmare on Elm Street, Jason, I thought was like as a kid just super horrifying. Like I'm glad they got campier as more movies came out because to me I was able to watch them. But that was one of the reasons I never wanted to go to like a summer camp. Just because if I was gonna murder kids, a summer camp is like perfect. That in their dreams, like that's a great place to kill people is in their dreams.
You're awful.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, I was about to say you're a crazy human being, but okay, it's good to know, George.
All right, guys. So I'm hard out. I am sick of being in black and white. We're gonna wrap it up, guys. But before that, you're here as my special guest. I want to show you guys. I want to talk to you guys a little bit. Joel, you know where I'm going with this, right?
I have no idea. Where are you going with this, George?
Oh, let me tell you. 1 second. Let me work some magic here. I'm really into T-shirts. I don't know if you know that, but I know that. But Jill, you're a Star Wars fan, right, Jill?
Yeah, I am.
No, Jill. Not,
Me?
Joel.
I am a Star Wars fan,
right? Look. We've got a Koopa Troopa as a stormtrooper.
Ah!
Right?
T-Public? Oh.
Yeah, it's the DualShockers.com TeePublic site where if you buy a shirt from there, you're helping us out. You keep the lights on. But look, you can get a cool green Koopa Troopa shirt in any gender, in any size, in any color. Well, most colors, which is kind of neat. Or if you want, different system, you can go with that. Or a Samtron shirt with Samus mixed in with some, or an adorable Charizard, guys. Guys.
I do worry about that. I worried a lot as a kid. I had a lot of, I was very upset about what Pokemon did in their Pokeballs and if they were comfortable in there, and I felt a lot of guilt about leaving my Pokemon in the PC too long.
Well, see, Joe, now you know what.
That is animal brutality at its best.
Ketchum is no better than Michael Vick.
Well, the Charmander looks like he's having a great time, and you guys can show off that great time for only $20. So make sure you go to DualShockers.com, our TeePublic site. Help us out. It's why I keep doing this. I do this mostly because it's kind of dumb. That's the only reason I kind of like doing this commercial. But yeah, you'll be helping us out, and I need some color. There we go. I'm in color. Yes, I'm a real person again. I'm emotions now. So we're gonna wrap it up. Jill, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, Jill.
And suffering through whatever this was of just me fumfering and me yelling at Ryan. Thank you. She is from Tom's Guide, Horror Bell Podcast. Anything else you want to plug? Do you have anything you're reviewing that you wanna just throw out there and have people check out over at Tom's Guide?
I've got to do my Evil Within review, which will be not. I mean, I hope it'll be entertaining, just because I'm trying to articulate how much I don't like it. But after that, I'm going to review Dreamfall Chapters, which I'm excited about.
And can we follow you on the Twitters? Do you want people to follow you?
I'm Jill Shar on Twitter. JILLSCHARR.
Yeah. So do that. Jill's also a member of the New York Video Game Critics Circle, like me, and we do the report show every February. So keep an eye out for that stuff. Again, thank you, Jill. You're welcome anytime. Not just
thank you very much.
But to talk video games, you also do internet security, so you can explain to me what a two-step authorization is. Much like, and I'm going to tell you up front, you're going to have an issue because Joel has been trying to explain to me what PlayStation TV is, and I still don't know what it is.
Well, I think two-step actually makes more sense than PlayStation TV.
Yeah. And Yoris, you beautiful chocolate man, you are finally on the ShockCast. Partially we can hear you, we can't see you. You're gonna figure that out for next time, but
no. Next week I'll definitely you'll see my brown chocolate face for sure next week.
I hope you come back. You too have an open invitation to come on the ShockCast anytime you want.
I'd hope so. Thanks for having me.
You are a Utah correspondent. I want to ask you about fish and chips from London, pubs. What's a pint? That's a beer, I hear?
That's a man's drink, is what it is.
A pint. Okay, cool. I'm gonna make a note of that. I want to be a man one day. And Ryan, you are you.
I'm disappointed you didn't call me your beautiful chocolate man. I was waiting for that. So
Ryan, do you just want your 10 seconds of Smash Brothers, guys? I'll give it to you this week.
No, I'm okay. I'm good because I know it really offends you. For all 10 seconds of that's like the most painful thing for you could ever hear me talk about.
Yeah, those that don't know, we give Ryan 10 seconds to talk about Smash Brothers.
Duck Hunt Dog.
I'll do you a favor. Next week you'll get 20 seconds. You can bank these.
Okay.
If you want, you can not talk about them at the end of the year.
So,
you might have a full minute.
So I was to say, so if I just save them up for the next 2 years, do I just get like a whole show where I could talk about Smash Brothers for the entire time? It's like,
Might be able to do that.
It's the podcast where I actually go to your house and strangle you for 20 minutes. And I just want to leave and see the life leave your eyes, and then I will not. I will do the time for that, Ryan. Okay. Thank you, Ryan. Joel, you magnificent bastard! Thank you for coming on here. I would do what we've been playing, but honestly, I'm way too tired. I'm sure you people are playing video games, which is good.
Yeah,
something you guys should keep an eye out for. My Sunset Overdrive review went up there. I really love the game. Be part of the 250 million comments on there, and yell at some other guy about something or frame
he
rate.
just wants to get more comments on the review. Let's just.
On the internet.
I feed off attention. It's
God.
live. And Joel, you just had an editorial go up about holiday shopping and that you should buy everything, which I recommend.
Pretty much.
That's how you keep the economy going. That's how you take part of the society. Just pay for things in cash.
By both.
Yeah. So thank you guys again for coming. Again, Georgie Jimenez, host of this thing you've been watching, joined again by Yaros Gutierrez, Ryan Meitzler, Joel Tavares, and again Jillian Shar. Thank you so much for coming, and hope you guys have a great and safe and spooky Halloween.
Make sure you have your parents check the candy.
Yeah, and check the candy, guys.
Check the candy, guys. Check the candy.
Candies. Make sure it's not opened. Don't be the guy that gives people fruit. That you're a jerk. Don't do that. This is the one time you should have all the
You
sugar.
shouldn't eat that.
Pennies suck.
Don't do that. Don't give them like juices either. That's kind of lame too.
I'm gonna go for Capri Sun. Everybody likes that.
I'm okay.
It's enough sugar to count as candy. It should count.
So
Remember to squeeze it. So did you guys do this? You had to squeeze the candies to see if they were still airtight. Because someone feared that someone hadn't. People were afraid when I was a kid that people were injecting poison into candy, so we squeeze our candies to make sure the wrappers were still airtight. That was a thing.
Well, in my neighborhood, they put razor blades in candies.
That was another. Yeah. So again, you squeeze. That was another. I never encountered one or anyone who had one, but if the wrapper's still airtight, then there's still razor blades.
Just be careful out there.
Oh my god, I'm legitimately terrified.
Oh no.
You don't want to stay inside and play video games.
Stay inside and play video games. Have your mom just buy candy for you. That's fine. Just do that. It's just so much easier. What are you guys dressing up as this year? Before we go.
Joel.
I'm actually going to be Superman. My son's going to be Batman. So.
Oh.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
I love family superhero costumes. It's my favorite thing.
We had to. We were going to do Mario Luigi, but he's just not tall enough yet.
It's a bummer. Ryan, what are you doing? Halloween.
I don't know, because apparently you're going to kill me, so I don't know if I'll make it to Halloween. So.
Oh, you'll be fine. So you dressing up?
Nope. My son, I wanted to dress my son up as an Ewok, and I was going to be Chewbacca, but...
That's so cute.
You should dress up Marcus as the Ewok, and then you should be a stormtrooper, so he could just beat the crap out of you, on Halloween, in Return of the Jedi.
That doesn't happen, man. I'll shoot the shit out of him.
Like when you open your door and you just have this little Ewok just hitting
I will shoot the shit out of him.
just hitting a stormtrooper with a
I was actually
doorstep.
cheering on the stormtroopers in Star Wars, and they were shooting the Ewoks.
There we go. Joe, what are you dressing up as?
I'm going to be Midna from Twilight Princess. Got my
yes.
helmet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We'll end on Jill wearing a hat. Put it on, Jill. Put it on.
It's such a process. Oh my god.
Come on! Don't ruin the podcast!
I can't see anything when I'm wearing it.
Perfect. On that note, guys, goodbye again. I have issues saying goodbye. I just don't like to leave. But safe and happy holiday.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.
You guys, thanks for having me on.
Always, anytime, Jill. Love you guys. And I'm a pirate. Look, see.
You're a solid steak.
Where's crossing the ground?